All right. Welcome to the Customer Service is Broken. It's time to fix it webinar presented by 1904 Labs. Thank you for joining us. In this session, our speakers will discuss the current state of conversational customer service, share our vision for creating a unified conversational customer service center, and make a case for why companies should be looking at doing this right now. I'm your host for today. My name is Tim Saunders. I'm a business development executive for 1904 Labs, responsible for the solution area that you'll hear about today. Before I introduce you to our speakers, I'd like to cover a few logistical items. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be available. We'll send that out to the registrants after the session. All attendees have been muted by default. And at the end, we will have time for questions. Please use the chat feature to ask questions of our speakers. If we can't get to your question by the end, we will follow up on those individually. 1904 Labs is an IT consulting company located in St. Louis, Missouri that builds teams with startup-minded people that work on solving hard problems for enterprises, typically in the modern software, data, or decision science domains. We have a heavy emphasis on human-centered design, which means we strive to not only build the right thing for the customer, but all of the human users as well. Our speakers for today are Tom Thielen and Brandon Fisher. Tom is the director of our AI-enabled customer service solutions at 1904 Labs. Before joining the labs, Tom managed technology, product, and operations teams at Centene and was responsible for the customer service product strategy. Prior to that, he spent more than a decade delivering technology consulting services focused on helping companies grow revenue with improved customer and sales tools. Brandon is the director of the decision science practice at 1904 Labs. He has over a decade of experience in data and analytics and spent significant time in the marketing space before joining the labs over 3 years ago. And now I'll invite Tom to get us started.
Thanks, Tim. I am Tom Thielen, and we are doing some really interesting work here, and we'd like to share some of our learnings and thoughts with you. To start with, just to set a baseline, we're talking about customer service channels, which you are, I'm sure, familiar with, and including social, email, voice, web and mobile chat, and SMS text. Today, we're going to talk specifically about what we call conversational service channels. So voice, web and mobile chat, and SMS text. This is not to say that social and email are not important. That's just not our focus for this specific conversation we're having today. Brandon is going to take it from here and give some more background on the systems and challenges companies face today.
Yeah, so I thought maybe to kick things off, we'd spend a little bit of time talking about how these conversational channels have grown over time in a traditional organization. So when we talk about those conversational channels, we're talking about the voice, you can text in and talk over text, or there's typically some kind of a web or a mobile chat option, right? And so as things have grown, they typically started in voice. And so when you call in to a customer service channel, you're greeted by the IVR, where it's some kind of a phone tree. You can press any one of 9 options to get to probably another menu where you're presented with more options, and ultimately you make your way through. On the SMS text and the web chat side, you reach initially some kind of a chatbot where you can begin to message back and forth. Now, as this has matured, most companies have turned on some kind of self-service capabilities. So when you call in, maybe you want to check an order status or check your account balance, and you can do that in a self-service way. But if you can't reach what you need through these self-service options, then you're typically directed in either of these channels or pathways to some kind of a queue where you sit and you wait until a real live person is available to handle this conversation, either a live agent over the phone or a live agent through the chat. And these agents, as they're working with customers, they have access to all kinds of back-end systems. So they're connected to your account information. They're connected to your billing information, your order and shipping information. And they're using these back-end systems to really inform the call and work with you in this conversational way. And if you're a customer who's looking at this diagram and going, yeah, that's pretty much how it works at our company, and you're proud of it, I mean, good for you. But I think it's probably worthwhile to take a little time and be honest about this experience. So if a caller calls in and they hit your IVR, be honest about whether or not they're just screaming operator or pounding out to 0. Are they actually going through the multiple layers in your IVR? And if they get through the IVR and they go to self-service, are they actually completing the self-service actions, or are they getting frustrated? If they come in through the phone and it's a touch tone system, how many people are going to enter their full account number? And when you compare these two pathways, there are probably self-service options that are available to individuals that came in through text or through chat that aren't available to individuals that came in through the phone channel. If they make it to an agent, if they survive that queue and that hold time, when they get to the agent, are they met with some message that says, oh, I'm really sorry, but you have to call back between the hours of 8 and 5 Eastern time when our agents are available? And so when you look at this system now, you realize that you're paying for multiple platforms, and they don't have the same feature sets. So there are some things you can do in one that you can't do in the other. And those platforms are probably managed by different teams. So you've got a team that works on voice and all the voice flows, and then you've got teams that work on the more text-based channels and getting people through those channels. These separate platforms with disjointed and incomplete experiences, they don't provide you one full view. And so if a user comes in over voice and can't complete their action and then decides to web chat, you can't see that full customer experience, and you don't realize that full journey that your customer has gone through. And so when we looked at this, we said, it's broken. It looks good on paper, but it's not working the way that most businesses need it to work.
So as you see here, there's a lot of red. There's a lot of challenges with this set of processes and systems today. The real question is can it be improved? And we see really 4 different areas where there's value potential or ROI potential. And the first one is customer experience itself. No company wants to provide service that sucks. There are real opportunities to provide better experience. Some of the highlights of areas that can be improved are the frustrating menus, the inconsistent service across the channels, and long hold times if you end up on a call. The second area is really about the technology platform itself. So in today's world, there are many companies end up with 2, 3, 4, 5 different technology platforms to handle customer service contacts. One for voice, one for chat, could be 2, one for chat over mobile, one for chat over web, another for SMS. So there's an opportunity there to really consolidate the different software systems and to consolidate the teams that end up supporting multiple technologies in today's world. The third area of potential is really operational efficiency itself. So if you look at customer service and contact centers, the reality is that there's too many live contacts, and that costs money. You end up with unnecessary transfers, long handle times, and there are real opportunities to both improve the service, but also save money on the back end. And then the last area is customer insights. So in today's world, trying to gather information about your customers and why they're contacting you is often challenging because the data resides in different systems. One for each of the different ways they're contacting you, and you don't have the ability to really understand what's going on. Are you getting a payoff because customers are successfully doing self-service via the web, or or they end up calling you more because it doesn't work like it should. Those are some insights that are missed today, where there's a chance to really improve things and give your teams a lot more information if things are changed. So back to Brandon.
Yeah. So if you're a customer and you're going through this experience, you're trying to get a hold of customer service. The reality is that after being frustrated, you sit there and you say, fuck this. And you either move your services somewhere else or you disengage entirely. And that is not what we want. So when we looked at this, we said, we can fix it. We can do better. And so let's build a better mousetrap. We said, first, let's start with this world of conversational channels. And let's say, regardless of how you reach out to speak with a company, you should be able to pick your channel, pick your weapon, so to speak. And no matter what, you should hit the same underlying virtual contact center, no matter which channel you come in. That channel should be able to greet you. It should be able to identify what you're calling about. And then it should be able to process and push you to where your needs are. That could be self-service. So when we send you to self-service now, you should have all of the same capabilities no matter which channel you come in on. And if it's not self-service, if you do need an agent, let's route you to the right agent the first time. Let's identify your needs and send you to that agent. And rather than the enterprise systems only being available to the agent, let's make those enterprise systems available to the self-service channels, to the routing channels, so that all of that information can be brought into the call and used in the way you need to. Now, the other thing we want to do if we're going to build this intelligent virtual contact center is we want to wrap the whole thing in data tracking so that we've got a unified data platform that is monitoring every single event that happens from the moment you reach out to the moment we resolve your issue. And that way we can push all of that data to insights platforms. And so now you can get customer insights about why they called, why did they move from voice to text, what was happening in those events. You can monitor the contact center in the way that you do now from an operational perspective, and you get new insights about the different intents and the different self-service routes that are happening. And because we're tracking every single interaction that happens, you can mine all of that information for other enterprise insights. Your R&D department is probably interested in what issues customers are calling in to report and seek help on. And so when we looked at building this system, we found a partner that provided all of the right underlying services to allow us to do this in one place, and that was AWS. So we've partnered with AWS on the solutions that we've built for clients. And if there's one thing that AWS is great at, it's integrating different services into their platform. So as you look at all these icons that we've listed here, you'll see things that maybe you've not worked with before, but one that I'm sure most people have is the idea of Lex, which is the virtual agent. It's the same underlying technology that is used in your Alexa smart speakers. So when you say, hey, Alexa, what's the weather today? That's the same natural language understanding engine that we use in these call centers.
So while this may look like a bit of an eye chart, the reality is this is much simpler to have a single platform to deliver customer service channels for your customers to contact you than if you had 2, 3, or 5 channels. And I think the key point that we're making here is that it can all be done on a single platform, and this is not a black box. So what AWS provides is a set of services all centered around their Connect and Lex services that allow you to easily integrate this type of a platform into your existing enterprise systems for your contact center, for your customer systems, for your operations, for your order management systems, and all centered, as Brandon said, around Lex, which is Amazon's language model, and using their cloud contact center platform, which is Connect. So to finish up, the real question is, what's the prize? How do we get from the opportunity to the realization of that value? And starting again with customer experience. The key here is an integrated experience, which allows customers to contact you no matter whatever works best for them. So whether it be voice or chat or text, and knowing that the experience will be integrated so that if they do start with a chat and end up having to call, the intelligent virtual agent or a live agent will know what they started with, and they don't have to repeat themselves. The second real value area is around tech standardization. So you end up with a consolidated platform. There's a single integration point to all of your backend systems. So in today's world, if you have more than one, say 2, 3, or more different contact technologies, you've got to integrate each one of those to your customer systems and to your operations systems. Having a single platform means you only build and maintain those APIs and those integration points once, and you end up with teams that can be more focused from a technology point of view. Instead of learning multiple technologies, one for each channel, they can focus on a single technology stack to cover all the channels. And then you have your enterprise, your experience design team that can focus on optimizing the experience for your customers across all the channels, instead of what happens oftentimes today is optimizing within each siloed channel. The third area is operations, and there's definitely potential here from really increased self-service for your customers and improved adoption rates, which leads to fewer live contacts, fewer transfers, and really shorter handle times, because you don't have 8 live agents when a call does get to them trying to figure out why the customer is calling in the first place. They're getting information delivered to them regarding the issue and the background, so the handle times get decreased. And then finally, there's value in improved customer insights. So because the platform is unified, the data is unified, and you have the ability to dig into every contact, everything is logged, and really mine and understand what is going on with your customers from a customer service perspective, both as it relates to the actual operational side of customer service, but what might be going on in your company that may be a root cause driving higher volumes than you'd like, because there's more issues with your customers. And then really the longer term end state is getting from reactive to really being able to predict and have models that allow you to predict customer experience and improve it versus just being reactive over time. So
yeah, and Tom, just to add, it's not just after the fact analytics and insights. It's real-time in-call insights and real-time, like now, if you're dealing with an agent, they can see a customer's entire call center transaction history to know, oh, they've tried to solve this problem 4 times. I can't mess it up again. You know, it's those kind of insights that will change the experience for the customer.
So just to finish up, this may sound like a bit of a commercial, but our approach to this is really general and broad. And it really starts with the design side. And so we look at this from an experience design point of view. Our experience design team look at customers, why they're calling, how they're interacting, how they'd like to interact, and really build personas and journey maps, and then do the same with your internal stakeholders to understand where there's value and start to design really conversational interactions for your customers that, again, are going to be easier for your customers to adopt and uniform across all the channels. Then moving into really what we think of as the core, which is the intelligent virtual contact center. This is really our DevOps and our Lex and Connect teams focused on working with the design team to create those those intelligent virtual agents that will actually interact with your customers and then pass contacts, whether they be live or in live voice or live text, to agents if necessary and route them correctly. The third area then is really our data integration teams. And this is, we've talked about the ability to look into every interaction, every contact with your customer, which is logged. Well, this is the team that pulls all that together, both from the AWS services, but and it can be standalone, but it can also pull in data from your customer systems and aggregate that in a way that's going to provide your operations teams and your other teams within your enterprise visibility, which leads to the final team, which is the decision science team, really creating a customer service insights hub that allows your teams to really understand what's going on with your customers and their customer and the service they're getting, to both improve how the service is delivered and dig into and understand root causes for why they're needing to contact you in the first place. So this is what we have to share today. There's a lot more behind this. We'd love to answer any questions you have. And so with that, I will turn it over to Tim Saunders. Tim?
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, guys. Yes, we did have a couple questions come in. As a reminder, if you do have a question, please submit it via the chat button below. And if we don't get to your question, we will follow up on email with that. Let's see. Can you talk more about why you chose the AWS platform and how it's different from some of the other platforms?
I can start with that. I think the thing that we see with AWS is they provide the cloud contact center technology, and they don't necessarily offer kind of a full-fledged turnkey solution, but what they offer is this set of services. And we see that for a lot of organizations, it is advantageous to integrate a contact center solution and have the kind of that flexibility and ease of integration versus having a standalone black box turnkey solution, which may work for what it does, but it by definition kind of creates a silo that makes it more difficult to integrate with the rest of your enterprise. So that's why we went down the path with AWS. And I have to say, we mentioned it a couple times now, but they have the language model that they're continuing to improve with Alexa, and really it's their Lex service that makes that language model available for commercial use. Brandon, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a couple things to key in on. 1904 Labs at its core is kind of a custom tech development consulting company. And so when we approach projects, it's not about, here is our package, we want you to buy it. It's more about what are your needs, what are your problems, and then let's help you solve them. And so the flexibility in the Amazon Connect and Amazon services that we're stitching together allows us to attack these problems in that same way, to say, talk to us, customer, client, partner, about what your problems are, what is or isn't working in your current IVR, and then let's build the right solution to achieve the customer support experience that you want. From the technology, the backend side, yeah, I mean, when we took a look at everything that was out there, we have a high level of confidence from a natural language understanding, natural language processing standpoint. We have a high level of confidence in Amazon's Lex technology, in part because we've all used it and had great success with it on a personal level. We have those speakers that we make requests of, and Lex understands us well to where we have a confidence to say, we know that this underlying technology is good and it works. And so that's why we moved forward with this platform.
Great, thanks. Got a couple minutes left here. Another question, what's the difference, or what differentiates this solution from some of the other cloud call center platforms?
I think I'll just, and it sounds similar to the first question, at least in part. And reality is that what Amazon has done with their Connect cloud platform is kind of create a set of services that are a framework versus an out-of-the-box turnkey solution. Now, there are some organizations that where an out-of-the-box turnkey solution might be the right answer for them. And there are some really great options out there. What we see is for large, complex organizations, having that flexibility and ease of integration is important. And that's where we looked at AWS as being a partner for us to deliver these types of solutions. Brandon, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Well, yeah. So one of the things that I kind of mentioned earlier is one of the things that Amazon and AWS are really great at is integration. And so if you're a company who right now is using some other data platform, you don't want to store and keep everything in S3, and you don't want your database to live in Amazon's Athena, there are integrations that are built from these AWS services to all of these other data solutions, data platforms. So you have the ability to plug in to your existing tech infrastructure, but you can use this platform, and your analytics now can live wherever it is that you do your larger BI reporting and analytics services. If that needs to go to Tableau, you can go to Tableau or Power BI or some other tool, right? And from a data warehouse perspective, we can push to whatever system that you're working on. And so it's that flexibility that again allows us to say, there's this core technology that Amazon is providing that we can build the call center with, but it doesn't have to replace or live separate from anything else you do as an organization. This can all be integrated together, and it can be very cohesive.
All right, I think we've got time for probably one more question. And then how do you customize the solution for different customers or industries?
I think that is the, in part, we've talked about AWS and the flexibility of their services. I think when we talk about customization, this is where our experienced design team comes in, and their ability to really use human-centered design techniques around journey mapping and understanding kind of the needs of a company's customers. So make it very specific and create solutions that really meet the needs of those customers. And that's part of the value of the AWS platform, is you can mold it to the design that works for your customers and your company versus having to work around something that's a kind of a fixed kind of turnkey black box. So I think there's big value there. Brandon, any more to add?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you hit the key points. It's the flexibility. We've worked with clients across a variety of industries in our time as a company. So, if you think about clients that are in the energy and utility space, they'll have one needs as they're referencing customers, and their customers are calling in about billing. They're calling in about potential issues and safety concerns they have, right? And so those unique and special needs can be built, and you don't have to wait for a platform to turn on those capabilities as a standard offering. We can help build, design, and create that customer experience using all of the underlying tools and services of the platform. Or if you go with a financial services company where it might be about checking balances or paying your account, or again, you don't have to wait for that special service or capability to be created by the technology. This is something that you can build yourself. And the other thing that's really great about AWS and their technologies is we as a company, we like to build and then transition whatever it is that we've helped you build back to you. We don't necessarily want you to be dependent on us to run it or maintain it forever. these AWS services are very approachable. They can be learned. So once we've stood up this technology, now as an organization, your customer service group can take over managing and maintaining this moving forward. And you're not dependent on somebody like us to do that work and keep the platform running.
Thanks, guys. Well, we're at the end of our time here. And so let me wrap up briefly. As I'm sure you picked up from the discussion, the journey to unified conversational customer service platform is in fact a journey. And we're curious where you're at and what feedback and questions you may have. You'll receive a link to the recording over the next few days. Please respond to that email with any questions or to schedule a follow-up discussion. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.